I'm going to talk a little bit about mental health issues that can be related back to the our slavery past. As I said in my last video, I am from Curacao, and in Curacao Curacao was in 1658, the like a central port harbor for for the slaves to get here, and then from here to other parts of the Caribbean or the Dutch territory. So it's from 1658 until 1863 for sure. I don't. It can be before the 1658, but I, I, I mentioned 1658 to 1863. We had the transatlantic slave trade, and with Curacao as a central harbor for to get the slaves to the different part of the Caribbean. In those days, the as you know, the slaves were uh, transported by boat from Africa, mainly from Africa, I think West Africa, to the Caribbean. The way the slaves were treated on board, they were treated in a very, very inhumane way. They were shackled like cattle on board the ship, and in a very, yeah, very hard and very inhumane treatment by shackle them and they didn't get much time to do anything. They were like shackled in the boat and through the whole voyage. And when they reached shore, when they reached Curacao, they were treated also like animal by the way they were treated was especially to break what was left of their spirit, and also to prepare them for the work ahead. So in a way for them to be obedient, remain obedient, and do the work that they was meant for them. So it was a very, very harsh and inhumane and traumatized way that they were treated. Very, very, that causes a lot of fear, shame, and aggression also. And these emotions were built up from in those period, the period that I said before, from 1658. It was before that they started with the transatlantic slaves, but the transatlantic slave trade. But I'm talking now about 1658 because I know that for sure that Curacao was the port from 1658. So from 1658 until 1863 was when slavery was abolished. Those that kind of treatment, that kind of inhumane treatment continued, and that's what that like built up a heavy emotions within within the slaves, and this type of emotion was emotion and traumatic because of the inhumane treatment. This built up emotion became a trauma, a traumatic experience, and this was transferred from one generation to the other. So right now that we still feeling and has to it wasn't dealt with, so right now we still have it, and we still have to deal with it. We the 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 generation of we are the let's say the we are generation of those slaves. We are the new no not the new, but we are the generation of those slaves, and we have to we still have the trauma. We inherited the trauma from, let's say, our parents, because they inherited the trauma also from their parents. So it went from one generation to the other, and with the consequences that it hasn't been healed. So it's still an issue that pending to be healed. And this also caused a complex of inferiority within our people. And our people, I mean the people from Curacao, the generation of those slaves, and within the Caribbean, other people that also are related to the slave past. And this inferiority complex, it reflects what it reflects within the society. You can see it back in low self-esteem, the way the low self-esteem of the people that especially towards white people or European people. It's like it's still kind of the master slave relationship. It's not very obvious for the with the side, but you can feel it still, that it's not balanced, the relationship with the between white and black. It's still like a master slave relationship. You can sometimes, a lot of times though, aggressiveness. We still have aggressiveness from the people, the black people that inherited the inferiority complex. You still see the aggressiveness. Let's say sometimes you have a discussion, for example, they within the meeting, for example, within the meeting, nobody says nothing, but afterwards, when everything finish, the I see it especially with our black people go outside and then curse off, you know, and while the meeting was going on, they didn't say much thing. A lot of aggressiveness and still cowardly because you had it was within the meeting they were coward, and afterwards they're cursing because of the that they not agree, that they because they do not agree with what's happening. Anyway, you have you have different, you have conflict also, low motivation, suicidal thoughts, depression, fears, and get angry fast. You have that a lot also, and all of those are actually can be related back to the complex of inferiority, and that is due to the traumatic experience of those days related to the slave trade, the slavery past. And these are actually mental health issues that still pending to be healed. But the best what we can do about it is go in therapy, everybody on our own, everybody yeah, every person can go into therapy by a psychology, psychol psychology, yes, but we can also do like group talkings in a familiar group, or in family, within the family, you know, talk about the the effects of the what we inherited from the slavery related past. Talk about it for it to be healed. And last year, the end of last year, the Dutch government offered their apologies also for for that period, for the slave trade, and that helps also apologies and reparations. You know, accepting of the apologies and reparations, that helps also. It's a process. It's not something that will be healed quickly because it took some time to develop. So it will be healed in with time, as long as we take the time to dedicate on it and attend the different mental health issues. Because after COVID, when a lot of people was at home, you know, during the lockdowns, a lot of people were at home, and then a lot of and money problems also, a lot of those conflicts became noticeable and actual. So we have to take the time, everybody, at least everybody, yeah, be more conscious about it, and take the necessary the necessary measures toward it. Measures, take actually go in therapy. Inform yourself what's the best, how, which is the best way to deal with it, and then take the time to deal with it, because it helps with a lot of anger that you can have built up within your system. Anger and shame and fears, a lot of fears also, because of all of those inhumane treatments from that particular period. So it's a good thing to take the time to deal with it properly.